Hey all, it's Anna with Adventures in Cardboard, and today I'm going to be showing you how to take this design, which is based off a template on our website, so you can print that off, cut it out, trace it, you'll end up with something that looks like this, and turn it into a satchel. So a nice little container for gold, for cards in this case. This is a card game satchel. Or anything else that you want with you on the trail that's going to fit into something like this. This is also a really easy base to turn into something larger. So if you're looking at this and going, how do I build myself a backpack? Just make this 10 times bigger and you got a backpack with 2 straps. Something to think about. So I'm going to show you how to take that template and turn it into this. Again, to start, print it out, cut it out, trace it, cut this out. You'll end up with this shape, more or less. I have a couple different examples, all of the same shape, because I'm going to show you a couple different things to do with them. So to start, you're going to want to do all of those little black lines as scores, half cuts. This is where you're able to bend and create your actual piece. So I'll also have that up on the website, all of those markings, so you know where to score. So I did just a few pieces to hold this together, just a few pieces of tape. You get the idea, you can do it on your own, tape all of these little corners here, and you'll have a little satchel. The next step is to make this either a satchel that requires very little tape and holds itself together, add some closure to it, and add what are these called? A belt loop onto the back so that you're actually able to put it on a sheath and hold it on, put it on a belt, put it on something that would have a sheath, and carry it with you. So you can also make larger versions of this same little contraption to turn it into the backpack. So you would just make 2 of those instead of the one that I'm going to show you. So for that, I have to have some cardboard and I have to have a knife. Check. Check. Sharpie helps too, or a drawing utensil. And I'm just going to look at my design and kind of think, how do I want this to close? On this one, this piece, this strap, is it's about the width of a finger, length of a finger. So that's what I'm going to do. There we are. If you're going to do this, adding a closure or adding a back piece, I recommend doing it while your design is still flat and before you've actually taped it. It's much more dangerous and much more difficult to add a piece like this to something that's already taped into shape and that's already bent. It could risk your fingers and it could also more easily tear your design. So what I'm going to do is start with a blank template that I have not taped yet, so bye-bye. And I'm going to work on this. I'm going to do that same thing that I did previously and score it. And again, all of these cuts up here are for flexibility. They're to help this cardboard turn into a circle, which it doesn't do normally, or to be a little bit more loose. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start up here on my lid, and what I'm going to do is make 2 cuts on it that are the width of this little piece here. So about a fingertip. And make sure that these 2 are directly next to each other. So just a little bit of space between them, and they're the same size, but that they run parallel to each other. All right, those cuts are done. Marked with a little Sharpie, but all good. And I'm going to take this and put it through here now. So I'm going to start with the bottom piece and just kind of slide it in. It might require a little persuasion. See that? So now I'm going in for the top piece. I did this wrong. I actually want to go through the top piece first. So I'm defining the top piece as when I close this, this will be the top. It's the one that's closest to the rest of the satchel, and I want to go through that first. My mistake. A little bit more persuasion. There we go. Okay. Sweet. Now I'm going to take the rest of this, soften it, which just means pinching and pinching and bending it. And I'm going to push that through the bottom hole. I've pulled the strap through the bottom hole, and now there's enough space that you can almost slide your finger through there. It's how we build our shield straps as well. So keep that in mind, that if you're building a shield strap, you want it to look like this on the interior. So what I'm going to do is put my thumb here, hold on to that top low tab, pull the rest through just like that, so it looks nice and smooth on the front. And now I have a low tab that I can use to seal the satchel. So what I'm going to do is fold my satchel up, just like that. Find where this tab hits, which, as you can see, it's just over there. And I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark where I want to make my cut. So I now have a nice little mark, there we go, of where I'm going to make a slice in this piece of cardboard to put my tab through, so that I can close my satchel. And just to test it, I haven't taped anything up. All I'm going to do is take this little tab here and try to get it through the hole I just made. Because I want to make sure this works. Alright, it's not going through, which means I can still fix this. Take a little bit of tape, you're going to want to do the same ways, and put it onto your little tab piece. What's happening with my piece is that the 2 layers of cardboard are separating, and so one is getting stuck on the interior of that small little hole I made. All I'm going to do is kind of reduce that resistance by giving it a connected surface, so a piece of tape, to go through it. Alright, all taped, this should work. If it doesn't, and there we go, it's through. So the reason that we didn't tape it all together is so that we could actually use our fingers to pull it through and make sure that fits. So you can see my fingers in there. They've pulled the tab all the way through. It's almost like a puppet. It's kind of fun to play with. But that also means that this tab now will be much easier to move, to open and close once we've taped our satchel together. You can always add more tape, you can always add another piece of cardboard. You can make that little hole that we made just here for our tab insertion a little bit bigger if you want. Anything that makes you feel a little bit better about it. There we are. It's complete. It just needs to be taped up and it's done. Except I'm going to use it to do an example of how I would do, what are they called? I still can't remember. Holsters, belt loops, a belt loop back here so that you could put this little satchel on a belt and wear it around camp. All right. That means I'm going to my middle part of the satchel, which is the back face, the part that faces your body. I'm going to figure out exactly where I want to make 2 slits, similar to the slits I made up here, to run a tab through that I can loop onto a belt loop. I'm probably going to make this, it's going to be the length of my finger again, because that's an easy measurement, but I'm going to add a fingertip to it. So, length of a finger and a fingertip. Or whatever measurement works for you. Be ridiculous, be silly, it can be a dragon's tail. Okay. Little technical difficulties there. So, again, you're just measuring out a little piece that's going to be the loop for the back of your satchel. It can be a fingertip and a fingertip and a half in my case. Oh, a finger and a fingertip and a half. Or it could be a dragon's tail, it can be anything you want, just something ridiculous. But you're thinking about engineering. What's going to be big enough that you will be able to secure it in your satchel and also have it go over a belt or a rubber tie, whatever you use when you're out fighting. I'm just loosening it, making it a little wiggly. So I've gone ahead and made the 2 marks on the back of my satchel. I'm just making sure that my tab will fit through both of them. Kind of how we were testing the tab on the lid, the closing tab as well. So I'm just making sure that these are correct. There we go. The tab goes through both of them. So what you're going to do next is take your tab, put it through one of them, and you want your tab, the majority of its body, to be on the exterior of your satchel. So that means this little tiny piece is on the interior, or what would be holding stuff. And I'm going to fold that piece over, secure it with my finger, and then tape it in place. Alright, now I'm going to take the other side of my tab, put it through the other little hole we made. This one's more finicky. Determination. I'm going to do that same thing where I just take a little piece of it, see that's a very small amount, and I'm going to flip it up and tape it. Alright, I have a little piece that I can now put on a belt or on a rubber tie. Again, whatever I'm fighting with, whatever I prefer to use. And both my closing tab up here and my little belt loop are done. So that means I can tape together my satchel. That's going to require more tape. All done. I have a beautiful little satchel with a closing little clasp, a belt loop on the back, and I'm ready to go fight. Collect all the gold I need with this. Makes a great ring as well. Maybe that's going to be a new fashion accessory in the realm this summer. Alright, see you all another time. Bye.